every morning to do this?
So like we were talking about, I think a lot of stuff in life starts from suffering. It starts from pain and loss. And for me, that was very true. So as a kid, I found that life was really empty for me. And I went through a period of life, 15, 16, where I was super depressed, super anxious, and wanted to kill myself. And I found love at that time, at that exact time that I needed it. And for me, that manifested as meditation and mindfulness and learning how to kind of listen to my body and breathe, and that gave me space.
Hidden Desires, fiction, based on a true love affair. Dear other woman, for the longest time, I had blamed you for all my suffering post-divorce. I had thought you were the cause for why Sunny and I did not work out. During the last leg of our marriage, I had asked Sunny to stop seeing you and talking to you. Well, I demanded it. I had thought you were the reason why our marriage couldn't work. A few months back, Amy had texted me a picture of her and Aaron. She wanted to show me that Aaron was hers. Today I was walking through a small village in Zaton, Croatia, lost and found with Roxy, and came upon a group of cats. The first three reminded me of the first three cats Sunny and I had adopted. This morning, the first voice I heard was Pastor Judah Smith's sermon on forgiveness and on Jesus' wisdom on forgiving, not just 7 times, but 7 times 70 times when someone has wronged you. I believe I have forgiven you each day as I live, perhaps 9 times 99 times, because that was how much I truly hated you. I hated you so much for what you did. You turned a blind eye to how much your sphere of influence and your seemingly innocuous love and faith towards Sunny had hurt me, dismissed me, and dismantled me. You had somehow convinced Sunny that I was this unstable, crazy, and hateful person. You don't know the thousands upon thousands of interactions I've had with Sunny that developed into something truly special, one of a kind, real, raw, and intimate between us. You had charmed him with shoulds, propriety, ideology. You have robbed us of the golden opportunity to work things out through better or for worse, through thick and thin when the going got tough in our marriage. Yet, it's your very presence that inspired me to transform all that hatred towards you, toward pursuing the heroine's call to adventure by investigating where all this hate is rooted in, the toxic feminine. I now know that this evil is beyond you, it's beyond me, and it has something to do with the origins story in the book of Genesis. Because you started loving Sunny at a time when I did not know how to love him. I had omitted all the goodness I gave to Sunny, all the self-respect I had for myself, all the grounding and deep love I have towards Sunny. I took credit for your evil by pushing him towards you, acting as if I was the other woman, when the truth is that you were the other woman. In many ways, the shadow side of me delighted in the fact that I had competition. The day I discovered the picture of you crawling on the bed with your brown hair down like some B-rated soft porn on his phone. For it was in some ways my way out of the relationship I had already felt trapped in. Truth be told, I had felt trapped long before you came into the picture. I no longer enjoyed waking up at 6 in the morning, driving 60 minutes to work and 70 minutes back bumper to bumper rush hour traffic, just to veg out in front of the TV, eating junk food and drinking wine, to numb the stress of a broken public education system that was beyond my control to fix or solve when I came home. I had overstayed the broken public education system like I had overstayed the broken relationship I had with Sonny. He told me that he would put work before our relationship, and if I could accept that, then he would have me, as if I had to earn him, as if I had to sacrifice myself to be worthy of his love for me. I didn't understand psychopathy or narcissism. I did not understand the origins of narcissism and psychopathy. I know now, because I started seeing life through the eyes of a psychopath, and it had to be my way or the highway. Aaron and I came face to face, one psychopath staring into the eyes of another psychopath. He accused me several times of being one, and a deeper, darker part of me delighted in this cruel power to affect fear in his heart. I think of Dexter, the serial killer that kills serial killers. And there's a part of me that wants to destroy Aaron, completely disarm him, expose him, and reduce him down to dismembered body parts. There's another part of me that remembers who I was once upon a time ago. The Belle in Beauty and the Beast that offered so much life in Sonny when I attracted my beast to transform. And Sonny did transform. I saw the miracle happen when life, purpose, and aim was brought back into his life, when I was the aim he wanted to provide, protect, and profess over, when I became to him the source of meaning and of life. Except I couldn't sustain this image of perfection for him, the good housewife. It was too tiring. I am not God, and the task of playing God is too tall, and the burden too heavy. The mask I was wearing became too tight, too suffocating, and one day I had overstayed and overplayed the good housewife role. It wasn't the full me. I had so much to offer the world than just the nice wife. We both thought we needed to feel needed, but not just needed, prioritized before anyone and anything else. I expected Sonny to die for me, and I expected myself to die for Sonny. That's how intense the illusion of this addiction, this need to be needed was. I thought I needed this label of taken to fit in with society's hierarchies, even at the expense of my own authentic voice. Around October, I became attracted to a man who took me by the throat and pulled me in for a kiss. I found it offensive, threatening, psychotic. It was a very familiar spirit, and my shadow was turned on by his psychopathy like the spirit of Bonnie and Clyde. But this time, I put on the mask of a femme fatale so I can observe a psychopath in the eyes of a psychopath, for I had by this time begun to integrate the shadow that Sonny had left for me on the day I saw his life lie come to fruition, when he opened his arms out, confronting me as if I was crazy while acting like he was protecting you when you deliberately showed up with the baby in your arms, the baby that Sonny and I had planned on having the same year you had sex with him while we were still married. Do you know that a week later I tried ending my life from the hatred I had towards you? For manipulating the truth about me, someone whom you have never really met but just made assumptions about? Do you know that prior to the suicide spell, the reasons behind it was that the voice inside me said I am indeed crazy, unstable, and angry from the imprint of Sonny's gaslighting and your complicit blind eye to the whole crime, acting as if I was unstable and crazy so that the both of you could justify the life lie of your affair. I can see how the perpetrator can act like the victim, for it is a natural projection from the inner guilt that you still hide behind your facade of the perfect housewife image that you know now that you have the burden to carry. Thanks for taking the burden off my plate. Since then, I've traveled to many cities, listened to many love songs, heartbreak and transformations alike. I'm co-producing a movement with God called Journal Artism, where I first start by being the investigative journal artist to my own life, searching for the meaning in the uniqueness of living, experiencing agape love through my walk with God. I'm living the dream that my soul has been desiring and owning up to the ugly truth of my ugly parts I've hidden along the way. I want to expose all my shadows in the shadow integration process, and I want to do it all in fiction. So on the final day when the bell tolls for my time here, I'll have transformed all my shadows into mirrors for others to see themselves in the spiritual fight between life and death. When I saw the smile on Aaron's face the morning after when he serenaded the guitar about patience and apologies, I can now see through the eyes of your needs, the yearning desire to integrate with the youthful promise of a young soul, and the overconfidence in thinking that I could somehow be the solution in raising the spirit of a dying artist, and that I could see the delusion overriding my common sense, that I am somehow rescuing Aaron from that toxic and crazy on and off girlfriend that he has. And if I could see the self-justification of convincing him why he is better off with the so-called Christ-centered woman compared to the woman who has no self-respect and who is toxic, I can see all the self-righteous justifications playing out in my head when the idea of being with him at the expense of breaking Amy's heart was revealed. When Aaron and I first wrapped our legs around each other, I saw your need of being wanted, being desired, being inseminated through the eyes of a biological clock ticking in her mid-30s. I also saw the eyes of Sunny when I saw the torment on Aaron's face the next day when he sat on the passenger side of the car I plan on selling for this Euro trip I'm taking now. He had a Plan B pill in his hand and told me I would ruin his life if I did not take the pill. Initially, I was offended by the idea that our beautiful lovemaking was somehow to be made wrong as something that could shame him or ruin his life, but then I remembered. Aaron had briefly told me that he was on and off again with Amy, his 7-year sweetheart. They have been having relationship problems lately, and though Aaron could not muster up the courage to tell me that perhaps he planned on going back to Amy after all this time with me, I can see it in the eyes of the 2000 version of Sunny that he was really thinking of his original promise to Amy, the woman he had given the promise ring to, that he would provide, protect, and profess through thick and thin, a loyalty pact for the rest of their lives, and I understood this loyalty. I thought of the promise I had made to myself that I would strengthen my faith, that Riley would somehow come back. I thought of the promise Sonny once made to me when he told me that he would be my lawful wedded husband, for better or for worse, till death do us part. And I took the Plan B pill, for I knew somehow that this was the right thing to do. I reread Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning today. On page 86 it states, "Every situation is distinguished by its uniqueness. And there is always one right answer to the problem posed by the situation at hand. I did the right thing that day. As shitty and depressed as I had felt the 3 days following, I knew it was the right thing to do because it was the simple and hard thing to do. In my hatred towards you, I had almost blindly became you. But I am not you. I chose to take the plan B because I have more love for Amy, the 2000 version of myself, than I have hatred towards you, the 2013 version of you. I guess this is the classic playbook of turning the other cheek. I had done for Amy what I would have wanted you to do for me 9 years ago. I had taken the initiative to tell Amy the truth, the ugly truth. Plus, I gave her my number in case she ever wants to know the details. I had apologized to her for my part, my apathy, my blind eye. I had told Aaron how inappropriate it is to still be his friend, knowing our history, while he's still making good on his promises to her, for it is a blatant disrespect to Amy, who I am now commanded to love thy neighbor. And though Aaron and I still lust for each other, I now have compassion for you. Now that I'm in my mid-30s, an age similar to your age when you first seduced Sonny, a married man, I could understand the fear of being alone, the scary idea that at this age I could be on my last egg any day, and every time I get my period, a surge of sadness overwhelms me. 10 years ago, I remember you telling me that what Sonny and I were working through had nothing to do with you. That was a blatant lie. That evening when I called you to demand the truth you refused to share, I wanted to know if you and Sonny were seeing each other, knowing that the two of you were indeed seeing each other, for my intuition was and still is sharp. But Sonny denied it, gaslighting me throughout, acting as if I was crazy for even suspecting anything, and you were his complicit partner in crime. You told me that your insertion into his life, the love affair that you two both shared, had nothing to do with my working things out with Sonny. But you see, every time Sonny told me that he had work while I stayed home in a house that he wanted, a house that my parents had put the down payment for, in hope, faith, and goodwill that he would honor me as his lawful wedded wife. Every time I waited for him in the home from the lifestyle he wanted, when he was really out with you, whining and dining. You were in our relationship. See, you created the life lie that your insertion into our affair was justified. When I became upset knowing this was happening behind my back, you had conveniently justified your actions by dismissing me as, quote, unstable, crazy, and immature, unquote, while you both justified your lust as true love. No, it was not true love. It was convenience, ideology, and safe spaces. You had created a life lie that you rescued him from an abusive, crazy, unstable woman. And that day when he put his arms out in a feigned gesture to protect you, I knew that both of you were acting out the life lie, that your affair was justified. In Warsaw, Poland, I had told Aaron the story of what happened that inspired the love story. I told him that Sonny leaving me for the life lie, that I was too crazy so he could justify his affair with the other woman who seemingly promised the lifestyle he was wanting, is actually a tragedy. I could see now from the point of view of the other woman, now that I am in your shoes, I can see that Aaron wanted me not for me, but for the kind of lifestyle he wanted to have, a lifestyle where he coveted the courage and faith I have infusing my love for traveling with my art and work. Little does he know that all this power in me came from God. I know now to fear no one and nothing except for God is the source of my redemption and the active ingredient of transformation. And even when I walked the left-hand path to the edge of the abyss, he was still there. One of the last texts I made to Aaron was to seek God first. I recognized what was missing and what Aaron truly wanted, which was not me, but Amy by his side. He wanted her to support his hero's call to adventure, or the artist's way, the way I wanted Sunny to support my hero's call to adventure. And that was what was missing when Sunny and I were trying to figure things out, trying to work things through our marital problems. Sunny just needed to trust God enough to allow me to do what I truly wanted to do. And had he just stood by me, he would have discovered what true love really means. My hope in continuing the love story is that one day Sunny could recognize just how much I truly love him, how much the depth of my love for him had manifested in the love story. That even in love's absence, love is present because love is sovereign. And I choose to love him. And thus the main ingredient in integrating the shadow, in transforming hate into anti-hate. When I asked Aaron if he loved Amy, he said, "Yes, of course I love Amy. She's done so much for me. How can I not love her?" But I heard something else beyond just she's done so much for me. I heard that she deeply, truly loves Aaron the way I could never love him. She loves him when he had nothing, when he was homeless. She stuck by him even when he made bad choices, when he hurt her, when he slept with me and made a fool out of her. He is indeed a fool, and she loves him even as the fool. See, I loved Sunny when Sunny was still indeed the fool, when he made me out to be a fool when he had the affair with you. I loved Sunny when he lived in a box, when he had no friends, fresh from Seattle to Los Angeles. I loved him when he lived on a mattress in the living room while his roommate slept in the one bedroom of the one-bedroom apartment they shared. I loved Sunny when he was socially awkward, shy, anxious, and broken. I softened his heart when his heart was hurt from the sting of a high school sweetheart betrayal. I wrote heartfelt poetry beneath tears of joy when we would see each other. After days of no contact, we exchanged vows in between sweaty sheets, making love every chance we had. I drove hours so he could drive minutes. I worked jobs so that he could have the career. For if I had it my way, Aaron would drop everything he's doing, including his 7-year girlfriend, and elope with me to travel the world, start a family, and run an online empire while traveling the world doing what we both love doing. Of course, that would be at the expense of Amy and her heart. But who cares about Amy, right? I mean, she's mean, she's superficial, she's probably codependent and abusive, toxic. But what if she's also sweet, loving, and kind? What if Amy bears all things, believes all things, endures all things, and hopes all things for Aaron, the fool? Just like, what if the 2013 version of who I was actually not mean, not superficial, and not immature? What if I was just in a very vulnerable place, lost and confused, and needed the man I had built my life around to step up as a man of integrity, to show up for me at a time when I most needed him? I acted strong throughout most of my relationship with Sunny. I acted free, but inside I hid the parts of myself that were scared, vulnerable, hurt, and the period of my life when I started breaking down, going through depression, going within to discover where my place is in life, where my aim should be, what I needed, and what that missing piece was my call to adventure, the artist's way. And that was the time you came into Sunny's life and affirmed his doubt in who I really was by convincing him that I was indeed abusive, crazy, and immature, so you could get what you wanted. So if I had it my way today, Aaron would be abandoning Amy for my will and my way, because why not? I'm the smarter, more mature, more fit one, right? Just like you were the smarter, more mature, more fit one for Sunny, right? Aaron and I could easily dismiss Amy as crazy, unstable, and immature, except for one slight problem. It's a lie. The 2013 version of myself is kind, sweet, loving. Towards the last leg of our struggle to work things out, I had believed all things, hoped all things, bore all things, and endured all things in Sunny, the fool. I experienced the life and death struggle for a timeline of a love story that could have been true for Sunny and I, but he acted out the life lie that I was crazy and justified his affair with you, and I had acted out the life lie that I was the mistress and undeserving of his love. The truth is, I was and still am the sweet, kind, and loving person, and you know what? So is Amy. I am passing the test that you did not pass. I forgive you. That is the only way I could prevent myself from becoming the very monster that I had despised in you. Now I understand you. Now I have compassion for you. I forgive you. I thank God in my heart of hearts that I am not you. Love, Angeli.
You don't wanna be lonely, ain't that everybody, body? Appreciate your service, but I'd only hurt you, sorry. 'Cause I'm not here to stay. Pass it, and I'll be on my way. No stems, no seeds, please. That's really all I need. That's really all I need. All I need, all I need. All I really need is my way. No stems, no seeds, please. That's really all I need. That's really all I need. All I need, all I need. All I really need it.
Tocamos con todo el calor de mi vida, esposa querida, madre. Paso los años buscando caminos, y así mi destino me trajo hasta aquí. Tu sonrisa sincera, mi fiel compañera, motivo y destino que alumbra mi andar.